How's it going, friends? If you're looking for a budget-friendly neighborhood, then I think this one has got to be on your list. South St. Paul, let's check it out. How's it going, friends? My name is Jesse Lynch, and I run the hardest working real estate team in the game. We're called To the Twin Cities, and you can check out our website, tothetwincities.com. But this YouTube channel is all about helping you find a place to call home here in the Twin Cities and relocations. That's what we do, and it's what we do better than anybody else. So if that interests you, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, subscribe to this channel, and click the bell to get notified so you can see every time we put out videos just like this. And as always, I would love a request for any neighborhoods that you would like for us to take a look at, any information you're looking for as you process a relocation to the Twin Cities. And if you want to work with us, we would love to help. You can go to our website, tothetwincities.com. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in about 30 seconds or less, or you can just shoot us an email directly to info@tothetwincities, and they lead to the same spot. So from there, we'll get the show on the road and just get everything moving in the right direction. A relocation to anywhere, from anywhere, is very stressful, very complicated, but it is what we do every single day. And today we're talking about South St. Paul, and we got a good one for you.
What's going on, y'all? We are here in South St. Paul, one of my favorite sleeper areas. I actually don't think that this was included in the up-and-comers video, but I would lump it in the it, yeah. Honestly.
If it was like a throwaway right at the end, like, and maybe this.
Yeah, but yeah. More and more as of late, over the last year, it's really grown on me. The neighborhood that we're in currently, I feel like, is a pretty solid representation of a lot of what's available as far as inventory. Mostly you're gonna have 40s to probably like late 60s inventory. Most of it's in pretty good shape as well. So I think there's definitely plenty of opportunity to be had down in this area.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is the value proposition. There's an affordability going on here that is difficult to find, you know, around the metro. Sub 300, you know, yeah. You can get a house for sub 300. Even sub 350 anymore. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of good stuff. Yeah, and you will find whole streets that are very well taken care of, and, you know, some streets maybe with less of that. You know, yeah. It's a mixed bag for sure, but some real gems of streets where, you know, you can get a lot of house for your money. And South St. Paul is about 25 minutes to downtown Minneapolis, about 15 minutes to downtown St. Paul, and about 15 or 20 minutes to the airport. Population is 20,000 or so people, and about 15 minutes to the MSP, the main airport. There's also other airports nearby. Yeah, there's like a St. Paul Regional Airport right off the river in 52, just to our north. Yeah, and I think there's even something to do with
more of a prop plane.
Grove, yeah, a little prop plane style. But yeah, you will see a decent amount of private flights and such happening out of the St. Paul airport. Boundaries. To the north, you have East Annapolis Street and basically St. Paul. Kind of what's known as colloquially as West Side St. Paul, even though it's south, it's weird. Yeah. But I don't know why they name it like that. But then to the east is the Mississippi River and Newport, the city on the other side of the river. Yep. To the south, you have Invergrove Heights, and also to the west, more Invergrove Heights and a little bit of West St. Paul. And most of the homes here are going to be more on the modest size. There's some bigger, some newer stuff, but it's going to be a little bit more modest, a little bit more starter home, or even more downsize style housing. And schools are okay.
Yeah, they're decent. South St. Paul School District on the whole gets a C grade. So again, average at best. Yeah. But some cool things to note is that in 2020, the district was one of the first in the nation to be a bar district, which that program essentially focuses on educators tailoring educational programs to students' individual needs, maybe focusing on why individuals are struggling based on things going on at home, things like that. So much more of a kind of progressive, modern way of educating. So there are some redeeming qualities to the schools here, but they're not the most highly rated.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for top-rated schools, this probably isn't it, but then this has so much to offer in terms of cost to quality of life. And let's talk a little bit about the housing costs, this is such a big part of it to me. It's such a big part of the appeal. The median list price is $279, the median sale price is $285. That's about as cheap as an area gets.
Seriously.
And especially when you walk around and you're like, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot to love. This house actually has a crazy view, like over some bluffs, but
yeah, the area as a whole, if you look on the map, obviously we're close to the river valley. There's a lot of undulation in the neighborhood, so you'll get some pretty cool views here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the range of house, it's also not that high on the high end. The most expensive house here is $450, currently listed. The cheapest is $199, and still 71% of the people who live here own 29 rent. Those numbers are pretty unusual.
Yeah, which is likely, it's going to be a little more quiet with that as well.
Yeah, a little more pride of ownership, but the underratedness of it kind of keeps those costs low.
Great value, in my opinion.
Definitely. It's proven to be one of the windiest days of our spring, and what are you going to do? I hope the audio is tolerable, but we want to talk through the pros and cons of South St. Paul as we see them. And right now we're at Central Square Community Center. Back there is Kaposia Library. It's a beautiful library. Big fans. And yeah, this whole little hey puppy, this whole little like strip or square is almost like a Duomo, or like a central square to the little neighborhood. Very refined. You wouldn't understand. But so
Spain, right?
Italy. But so pros and cons. First pro, obvious. We've already talked about it. Affordability. Some of the best affordability of any neighborhood we've ever done. Being, $285. That's really, really good for the Twin Cities Metro. And then another little thing that I'll throw out is really cute little hole in the wall spots. I'll show you the coop here in a little bit. Very cute, but yeah, just like a cute little like neighborhoody kind of classic small town feel, but it's definitely not small town proximity. Yeah.
A pro for me, and we touched on it back in the neighborhood, is going to be the diversity of housing stock. A lot of cute houses. And as I would like to put it, there's a little bit of a lot of decades.
Yeah.
Starting in the early 1900s, in fact, you'll probably see it, but there's a really gorgeous Tudor just to our right here, and then all the way up into some of those, 50s, 60s, maybe even early 70s. But it doesn't feel similar to the likes of, some of these other communities that are all post-war, or even in the city sometimes where it's all early 1900s, which everyone has their taste, but there's some good diversity here.
Yeah, it's been growing slowly for a long time. Most of the houses sort of stop around the 70s. Not too many 90s built. Not a ton of new stuff.
There's like just a few off of, I want to say it's 62 or 494, which good segue. Great accessibility in my opinion. I drove in from South Minneapolis on 62 all the way down here, but you've got Highway 62 and 494 that both run parallel through here. You've got Highway 52 and 55 that both run more or less north to south. So it's pretty easy to get where you're going out of South St. Paul. Yeah,
and I think one thing that I really love is sort of the natural space. Obviously, this little Central Square park, very cute.
Amphitheater here almost.
Yeah, it's cute. It's just part of the community center, but very cute. And there are several parks throughout the area. Jefferson Park, I don't know, just several very nice parks.
Yeah, Cider Lake is kind of southwest.
And actually, you were telling me
Kaposia.
Yeah.
Which was the name of the library as well, and
Wish we knew what it was. Maybe we'll put it here if we do, but.
Yes, but Kaposia Disc Golf Course is up in the northwest corner. 27-hole disc golf course if you're into that outdoorsy stuff, but top 5 most played disc golf courses in the nation.
That's honestly insane to me that this place would have the top 5.
But it is beautiful. It's well maintained. It's one of the few where you have to pay a fee. It's not much, $5 to $10, but you know, it's a really nicely maintained course and great way to get outdoors, toss some discs, or even go for a walk.
Yeah, I'm loving that the wind has died down right here. But let's dive into some cons. I think the first is that, like we said earlier, some of the spots are very, very well maintained. Some of the neighborhoods are going to feel very consistent across the board, but then some are going to just not. There's just homes that I think of as being like lost to time or victims of time.
Yeah, it can feel similar to any other area in St. Paul proper where it'll just be block by block as it relates to pride of ownership. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, totally. And one thing actually that how it differs from the city is that there's not many sidewalks, and that's a personal gripe of mine.
Yeah,
I like sidewalks, and there are areas. This one outstanding because this one has it.
We're in like the central area, you know,
yeah.
Central Square. So
yeah, but a lot of the areas of this South St. Paul have you know, don't have any sidewalks. It's kind of 50s, you know, early suburb feel where there's just not any sidewalks. And one thing Nick brought up is sort of the industrial nature of South St. Paul.
Yeah, more so on the east side, closer to the river. It has that vibe. If you look on satellite, similar to across the river in Newport, you know, right on the river. No surprise, there's going to be more of an industrial, commercial presence.
Yeah, it's pretty intense on the eastern side, and it always feels like a little bit of a shame because it'd be cool if you had access to the river and it was beautiful, but it's not, you know.
Well, any of these places, even, you know, west side of Northeast, same thing.
Definitely. You know? Yeah, and so I think last con for me, I don't know if you can think of any more, but it's just that within South St. Paul, there's not that many suburban amenities.
No.
It's, you know, a lot of hole in the walls, a lot of mom and pop style shops, but not that many like proper amenities. But
very residential.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to West St. Paul, really, really close, and they have a pretty good assortment of those things. But I will say it's on the low end for the Twin Cities as far as just access to whatever, Targets, a variety of grocery stores.
You'd have to bop up to Woodbury, which isn't that far, but
or go into St. Paul proper or something like that.
It's Robert Street, right? That I'm thinking of running through with most of that. So
absolutely,
and that's pretty close.
Yeah, it's not that crazy, but it nonetheless it qualifies as a con if we're comparing Minnesota to Minnesota.
Yeah.
But all right, it's too windy. I hope this audio has been at all tolerable. I'm gonna go over to the coop, talk through some for fans of that you might like if you like what you see here. I think one of the reasons that I was particularly excited to do a video on South St. Paul is that it doesn't get much hype at all. It's not going to show up on many lists or anything like that, but as you're perusing a home search website, you might see like, there's pretty cool homes here, a lot of character in these homes at a pretty decent price. So what's it all about? And that exactly is why we're making this video. And right back here actually is the Coop restaurant. I actually thought it was the Co-op for like a really long time. It's like, as in like the chicken coop. I just thought it was a Co-op without a dash when I looked at it on the map. But no, yeah, the chicken coop. It actually smells very good outside. And this little, core, it's like a little bit of a business district, like similar to where we were just earlier, but very cute. A lot of character in this old building, and love that it's just sort of tied into the fabric of the neighborhood. And if you watch these videos, you know that I do a little section I like to call the For Fans Of section, which is to say, if you like what you see here, there might be some other spots that you want to check out because maybe they have a little bit of a similar lifestyle, similar identity to them. And before I do that, I would just like to say say that if you're interested in working with us, we would love to help you. This is what we do. This is what we do every day. Relocation is not easy to do from your end, but it's what we are doing every single day. ToTheTwinCities.com. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in like 30 seconds or less, or you can shoot us an email directly to info@ToTheTwinCities.com, and they lead to the same spot. So totally up to you how you do it. Let's dive in for fans of what other spots might you want to consider. First, I think West 7th St. Paul. It's a neighborhood in St. Paul. It's sort of, you know, one of those up and comers that we talk about quite a bit. Sub 300, you can get a pretty cool house in West 7th, similar to what you find here. Then there's just West St. Paul, which we haven't done a video on yet, but we will. And West St. Paul is similar to South St. Paul in a lot of ways. Has maybe, some of those houses tend to reach a little higher in price, so a little more of a potential for like an impressive home on some parts of West St. Paul. Then there's actually Greater East Side St. Paul, which is a neighborhood technically within St. Paul, whereas West St. Paul and South St. Paul are different entities from St. Paul for whatever reason. But Greater East Side has a lot in common. It's fairly no frills, right? But relatively chill. A lot of solid housing stock that seems to have been well cared for quite some time, but still has, you know, some amenities nearby and also really good access to the cities. And then the last place that comes to mind is another one that we often will put on our up-and-comers list, which is Columbia Heights. Columbia Heights is on pretty much the opposite side of the city from here by maybe 20 minutes or so. But it has a lot of similar aspects, especially when it comes to home prices, proximity to the city, but like still having a different feel and like a different soul than the neighborhoods in the city. But that's what I got for fans of, and that's what we got for this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.